Hello there, welcome to this month's HubSpot Tip of the Month. This month we're looking at a different feature of HubSpot, an integration where you can make calls from HubSpot. So this integration is called Aircall. There's a particular reason why I've decided to focus on Aircall, so let me give you a demo. So in the Aircall interface here, we've got these abilities to essentially set things like if a number is on hold, or if no one's answered it, or if it's after hours, we can have essentially these messages here. So like a normal phone system where we can say, look, this if someone's trying to reach me, someone's trying to put me through to someone else, we can have like waiting music and etc. Or if it's after hours, essentially it would say, hey, welcome to Ucidity, our office hours are 9 to 5, etc., etc. And then if it's unanswered, it goes to this unanswered call message and then goes to a voicemail. So that's sort of similar to what you might expect with a standard phone system. But where it gets exciting is where we integrate with HubSpot. So I've done some integrations through this section in here, and now that it's integrated, I can now do calls straight from HubSpot. So let me just show you how it works. Okay, so once you have the integration set up, you'll notice that if a contact record has a phone number in it, in a particular format, we can then use this call feature. So if I click on make a phone call, some of you may have more options than this because HubSpot, in certain countries, HubSpot does allow you to have certain different numbers on here as well. But I can do this where I select call from Aircall, and then I'll do call from Aircall, and then I'll call this specific number, and I click on the call option. Now that's actually going to go off and call my phone number. So it's actually calling that now, and then I'm just going to leave a voice message with myself. Okay, so it's just gone straight to voicemail now, and what I'll do is I'll leave myself a voice message. And one of the things that I do like about this is that we can do all the analytics off the back of it. So I've just reached the point where I'll leave myself a voice message. Hi John, it's just me doing a demo message. Thank you very much. I'll do a hang up. Okay. So now the interesting thing is that now that we've done a call from HubSpot, I'll just refresh my system as well. And we'll notice that there was a call logged in here as well. Okay, there it is in the calls tab. So it tells me that there was a call. There was some sort of connection. Now I'm actually just going to say I left a voicemail. It was an outbound call, so maybe a first outreach type call. And it's an outbound call. And it actually also tells me the companies and whatnot in here as well associated with that specific call. Now the thing that we like about this is that once the system has this set up, we can actually set up Aircall as well. You may have noticed that when I made the call, it can actually give you feedback on the call based on its own AI engine as well. And the other thing that it can do is that it can record transcripts of your call. Obviously you have to have consent and something in your when you're talking to the person at the other end to let them know that the call is being recorded, but it does have an additional layer of being able to record calls as well. So the next thing that we really like about this is that once you say you've got a team that does outbound calls regularly, whether that is like a customer success team, whether there's a business growth slash sales team, we can start to then jump back into HubSpot and look at the success rate or the analytics of our calls as well. Okay, so if I jump into this section of HubSpot, go to contacts and then calls, by default it has a filter on it, so I'm just going to clear that filter so it shows me all the calls. And there's my call at 11:48. There's some notes as well, and the person associated with that call as well. So what a lot of sales teams actually do is that they will put have a screen like this, similar with all of their contacts in there, and they can actually call straight from essentially like a big Excel spreadsheet with everyone's phone numbers on there in the system, write their notes in this screen or in the call notes itself, and select the outcomes now of the calls. So the exciting bit is, now that we've got a little bit of analytics here, we can then run reports on top, which say for our project-based calls or our customer success calls or our sales calls, we can look at, right, how many people actually pick up, what's the lengths of conversations we have, how many voicemails, how many calls did it take to actually get through to someone, and we can start to build up a picture of our database as well, and start to build up some predictions around our outbound calls from, or even our inbound calls from our team as well. So let me just jump in and show you that. Okay, so I'm in the report builder section now. It's a relatively straightforward report. So I'm basically reporting on activities. I'm selecting the type of activity as being a call, and then we've got the actual type of meeting. So if you remember when I was recording the call itself, I had an option here to select the type of call that we had. So it's just in that section there. So we've got the type, so we could have things like customer success, as I said before, sales, project calls, first outreach, second outreach, follow-up calls after networking event, whatever it might be. So you can start to track the types of calls that you have in your company, and then we can build a report around those calls, just get an idea of what volume of calls are going in, and then we can start to break this up in terms of, say, those that are answered, not answered, etc. So I'll just build that up very quickly. Okay, so I've just added a field called call outcome, and you'll see that actually I've just got to add it to the report as well. Oh, we've got a call outcome as well. There we go. So we've got connected and left voicemail. Okay, so we get a tiny picture, but there's a lot more data that we can pull out of these as well. So in summary, there's a lot more to Aircall than what I've shown you, but the biggest benefits are that, one, you can just call straight from HubSpot. So as I said before, you can have lists of contacts, click a couple of buttons, and then click make a phone call, rather than have to what a lot of people do is that they'll jump into HubSpot, they'll find the contact record, they'll look for the phone number, then they'll go to their phone and they'll type it into their phone and they'll make a call. So it's way quicker just to call from your desktop. You can have a list of all of your contacts in here with all the notes in front of them, so people can just record the outcome, the actual notes themselves. And then thirdly, you've got the reporting ability as well. And then finally, Aircall has its own analysis of calls, and then you've got all the call routing as well. So one thing I needed to mention as well is that if I have called outbound via this number, so that's our main number, and a call comes back in where I had made the call, then the system will automatically route the call to me. You can set it up so it automatically routes back to me because I was the person that made the call. Okay, so it's got some pretty cool routing features as well. There's way more to Aircall than what I've just shown, but I've given you a very simple example. So that's our HubSpot tip of the month. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next month.